Hey everybody, it's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to recap yesterday, and I also wanted to go into some narratives. We have some time now. We had a lot of open sequences, so I like them to always to close as many of them as I can. But obviously, we had two important games today, both by Russells. We had Russell Westbrook and obviously Russell Wilson. And what I found interesting, like I had said a bunch of times with Russell Wilson, it was obvious he was not going to lose in London. The turnaround was told to us. He was nice enough to tell us the script and say, hey, go put your bets on me. I'm ready to win for you guys. Aaron Rodgers is nice enough to do the opposite and say, hey, I'm going to be a bum, bet against me. I don't know. I wound up pushing the Aaron bet. I know a couple people were saying they got it was 10.5 at the end. They must have moved it a lot. I remember somebody saying it started at 4.5, and that's how they double clip people. I'll give you a perfect example of a double clip or just an interesting. So here we have Dallas Orlando, and this game opened. It opened with Dallas. They were favorites, but they were about 7.5, and as you can see. And that's why with this one I bought a half a point. I should have bought a whole one that just they kill you with the odds. It moved to 9.5. I bought it to 9 and pushed, but this stuff is not a coincidence. We also had two games, and I didn't bet them. We also had two games where the over/under was within a half a point. Here we have the Warriors was actually yesterday. I'm sorry. If you go to yesterday's game, the Warriors finished with exactly 233. Okay. And it's interesting for one reason. So you'll see the Warriors finishing here with 233. That's where the over-under was set at, 234 actually. So then today, who was our casualty? Today we had a different team. This was the Lakers. And they're over under 232. And I'm almost positive it was 233. So it's just very interesting in my opinion. But we did get the Lakers. A lot of people were saying that they didn't see the Lakers starting off 0-6 with Bill Russell. Honestly, I thought that would have been a pretty fitting thing to do, but just because they are sick that way. But I did think the Lakers were going to cover. I bought it up about a half point. So I just wanted to be extra safe. But they got it done for us, which is nice. They're officially off that 0% against the spread. And as I said in the beginning of the video, I found one thing very interesting. A certain individual did really well for this team. He has a particular name that's relevant. And obviously it's Mr. Westbrook. 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Shot good, 18 points, had the highest plus-minus on the whole team. So, again, the narrative that this guy is a bum needs to stop. Okay, he came off the bench, scored when others weren't scoring in these spots, and they win. It's just ridiculous that they would try and spin that it's this man's fault. And B, it's interesting that Russell Wilson, Russell Westbrook, both Russell W's, right, come back and have really good games and turn their teams around maybe. We got the anniversary of Bill Russell W, right? William Russell going on. So I think it's interesting. Maybe we could watch those two individuals more this year and see if there's any more commonalities, because I did find that interesting. But as I had said, A, the reason I love the system, and B, the reason it's good to look for narratives. As you can see, we didn't have a perfect day yesterday, but we hit the important games, and that's what matters. So, as you know, we had Denver for a long time. After the Lakers lost like 2 games ago or something like that, it was like 2-3 nights ago, I said, okay, leg 4 is the Denver game. It's easy to just want your money back and to pick a leg 4 the next night, but this is why I wait. So we can get the most favorable matchups on our leg 3s and 4s. And obviously that's all we ever want. And as I said, besides that, we did have I think we had a really good day. We did have the Raiders lose our leg 2, which is never fun. But I had no doubt that Hawks game was a trap. And again, just look at how Daniel Jones ran that game, and look at how he runs every other game. He ran like he should run that. I don't know what it is, but he was just trying to run and kind of hobbling. He wasn't getting the edge on safeties because he shouldn't be. He wasn't breaking the ankles of linebackers because he shouldn't be. He wasn't breaking out of the arms of defensive ends because he shouldn't be. So I don't know why he was doing all those things, except, again, we know it's rigged. But against the Seahawks, he couldn't do anything, which, again, that was the narrative. Sorry about that. That was the narrative. The Seahawks have this narrative of they stifle teams. They get under your skin. Their fans are too raucous. So with a guy like Daniel Jones, who they love to point out his weakness of being not so great under pressure and doesn't make the best decisions, to me this was just a no-brainer. And of course, all game they were talking about the noise and what it's like to play in Seattle. And Sanchez was saying how he personally played in Seattle, and it's not a rumor. It can really throw off your gameplay and all these things. So I'm sure all the public money was on the Giants. Vegas made everybody sweat it out till the end, and we got our win. So we hit our third leg, which is important, and we also did well. Carolina covered. I did not think that they were going to have Carolina not cover. Too many people had their money on Atlanta, and Carolina's been so garbage this year. That's, again, another reason I thought it was a trap game. Some of these games, they're not all traps. Like Broncos, Jags, while both teams suck, I still think there was more money on the Broncos, but narrative will reign supreme. Here, nobody cares. These teams both suck. They're not doing anything. So you get the Panthers to cover the spread. And then there's a lot of them. We had Cardinals-Vikings. We did miss that one. It was only for like 10-15 if you remember, but we do have a leg 2 in store. I thought that was a trap as well, but as you can see, not everyone that looks like a trap is one. Sometimes they're just good old-fashioned as-advertised games. And with the Cardinals rolling with Hopkins, I can understand why maybe some people would have been on Arizona, and maybe it wasn't, the 3.5 was fair. I don't know. It just seemed like it reminded me of the Giants game, this Vikings one. So we missed that, but we got the Hawks right back. I'm sorry, on that one, the Raiders is the one when we did our double up, because the Raiders was leg 2. And I had 2 theories here. Theory number 1 was the one I had, and I'm not making excuses, I'm really not. But I really believed in the theory. And theory number 2 is more a gut, and then things that people that watch the books were telling me. So theory number 2, and things that I was being told, was essentially because of the Raiders' record regarding how, like, where they're at in the Super Bowl rankings, the fact that Mattress Mac and all these other people had put a bunch of money on the Raiders to win the next 4 games. That kind of showed me that, or the Sharps, as they're called, were putting money on the Raiders. That made me really think the Raiders were going to win this game. And it conflicted another theory I had, which I'm not even sure if this theory is still going to work. I thought Jameis Winston was going to have a decent enough record so when he went against Tom Brady, it's him versus his old team. But now I guess he was just benched. I thought he was injured. So now that doesn't really work for me. That's why I had the Saints finishing better than the Panthers and better than the Falcons, because I figured Jameis versus Brady would be a better draw. So we'll have to see what they do with Jameis. But once I figured that Jameis wasn't going to be playing in the future games, that is why I like the Raiders more, and I wound up going with them. But we'll have to see what happens with Winston, because I think it's too good of a story not to have him play his former team. So that one, like I said, not fun. But again, the reason I love the system is, as you can see, we lost the Raiders. We got it back with the Seahawks, leg 3. We lost the Rams. We got it back with the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's essentially, the idea of the system, because we're not going to win against Vegas every game. As you can see, we didn't do great. We missed the Vikings. We did get the Panthers. We did get the Broncos. But we missed the Vikings. We missed the Raiders. We missed the Jets. That's 3 misses in the first, the 1 o'clock games. Yeah, we still finished very well because of the system. Jets, I said I was reluctant on that one. I knew it was going to be close. I just thought I went with the narrative over the trap. And I should have gone with the trap in this game. To me, it made sense that you have Bill start like Brady. And against his old team that he left high and dry, you have the Jets beat him. I guess Bill's not quite ready yet to go out yet. Because the year he goes out, I expect him to lose to the Browns, the Jets, and all those teams. Then it started getting good, or pretty good. We were able to get the Commanders +3. We didn't need the 3. To me, it was just another obvious trap game. Nobody's going to be betting the Commanders. And with a healthy Jonathan Taylor, I'm sure people went all over the Colts. And, of course, Taylor conveniently muffed or fumbled the ball when the game was important. And Washington's backup looked better than anybody, leading them to victory. So, in that last drive. So, that one we hit. Rams-Niners, here's an interesting one. They just basically, they might as well have came out there and for the 3 hours just showed us a highlight reel of McCaffrey and told us this man is your God, please worship him. Because I get the guy's good, but to go out of their way to show him throwing, catching, and passing a touchdown, I didn't need. I understand he's good. But this is why I mute the announcers and I don't even watch these games because it's not believable to me that this guy that was good about 7 years ago, who, yes, he still can go, but not like he was 25. I have a hard time believing he just had his complete way with the Rams defense, who's still a pretty good defense, and he's throwing better quarterbacks than Jimmy G. Throwing better dimes than Jimmy G. Now, we missed that one. Like I said, we got it back with the Lakers. But my point is, I think what they're trying to push with this narrative is that, A, the Rams are beaten, and you're going to see them creep into the playoffs, mark my words. But they're also trying to prove that the Niners are the team. And I had them winning the Super Bowl, them and the Ravens, actually. I don't know. I thought they'd both go. It made a little more sense. Jimmy G would get the comeback narrative. But now that they're pushing him so hard, I'm wondering if they're not going to go. Because I don't like it when a team gets pushed like this. If you notice, Baltimore's not getting this kind of push. They're kind of quietly getting in there. The Niners, they're just basically saying, everybody sit around and watch the best team in football with the best player. They're making this guy look way better than he ever was. He was good. He wasn't disrupting the entire defense, passing, running, and receiving. He could catch the ball, and yes, he can throw it. But it just looks like I've seen a lot of shoddy missed tackles on Christian McCaffrey. So, going forward, maybe they do push the Niners really strong this season. I just thought it was too obvious once they got McCaffrey to have them win a bunch of games. And this is the one we got back our Raiders loss with. To me, just a complete trap. I don't understand why the Seahawks would be 3-point favorites in this game. The 6-1 Giants and the 4-3 Seahawks. Makes no sense at all. But like I said, they flustered Daniel Jones. That was the narrative. That Daniel Jones would not be able to play well in Seattle. I think the guy had a total of like 100 yards. He did really okay. He finished with 176, 17 for 31. And you can see his rushing was nowhere near as lethal as what it normally is. This dude, like I said, they make him look like Michael Vick, and then other games he could barely move. That's how you know these guys are faking tackles and taking bad angles. He's just not a fast guy. And if you watch how he ran last game, that's what you should be seeing every game when he goes to run. Him getting pummeled like the goofball he is, not breaking ankles and hurdling people. And then this one's interesting. Again, we knew Rodgers sucks. We knew Rodgers was not going to win this game. And we knew he wasn't going to even make it close because he sucks. He's a bum. They're running him around the league like he slept with all the owners' wives. They just love humiliating this guy. I'm just waiting to see skid marks on his pants for confirmation that they are going and throwing this kitchen sink at him. Now, I know some people told me they got it at 10.5. This is a weird one. It sounds like one of those move the line traps. I remember when it was like 9, even at 8.5 a couple days ago. So if we're to move to 10.5, if it did. I got in at 10, so I did push. Like I did with another game that I'm going to show you. But it's just interesting that it moved that much. It just shows you how many people were fading Aaron, even with the 5, 6, 7 points, for it to move that much. That's how garbage this guy is. Now, another game that the Vegas tried the little double slip was here. They set this one at 9.5, and I even posted why I bought to 9, because, again, I went into this my other video. Luka decides when they score, but it decides when they don't score. And I just find it very interesting as a guy that can shoot turnaround blindfolded fadeaways is then going to turn around and go 8 for 14, 57% from the free throw line. So he makes one more of them, and the team covers. So I did buy half a point to get that one to push, only because I did not like the half in that specific occasion. I was going to buy it to 8. I know some people that bought to 8.5. But yeah, so between that game and the Packers, you can see how they do it. It's not an accident. They just get it in there, and you get those nice little double clips. So people that bought in, say they got the Mavericks minus 10, 9.5. They lost. And then if you had the other team, the Magic, plus just 9, well, now you only pushed. So Vegas is really smart about that. And same with me, I only pushed because I did the 9 I didn't get. It's not, it's a wash. The only other games we really had, I went into the Clippers. I liked them. They didn't hit for us, but that's fine. I have a second leg, and we put 13 on the Cardinals. Vikings look like a trap game as well, but I guess some are just as advertised. So overall, again, we did really well. We've only lost a couple first sequences. We hit all of our third sequences. And I think most importantly, the Broncos and the Hawks, the Lakers, all third and fourth legs that we were able to win. So that's what I try to explain. That's what's important. It's not about winning every game. That's why I don't even watch them. I fell asleep during the Lakers game. I just know that they are going to set it up so Vegas always has an edge. So our only shot of one-upping in Vegas is by picking very smart, favorable matchups and not letting them trick us. So a lot of people are going to keep fading Los Angeles because they were losing. I liked the fact that they hadn't won a game against the spread and figured they would. So I just look for those type of things, and because of that, we closed out most of our sequences. We're going to be rerunning a second sequence for the Mavericks because that pushed on us. Lakers closed out. Carolina. We'll have a second sequence here and here for the Clippers and Cardinals. But as you can see, from yesterday, they were all closed out. We closed out the Seahawks in the third because the Raiders couldn't come through. And then, of course, we closed out Denver. So we're doing really well overall. We're over 100 sequences. We've done so many. Each one of these is a $20 win about. Some are 25, some are 10, some are 15, but most are around 25. And we're going to keep slowly making money. It's that simple. As you can see, it can get a little ugly for a second, but it's damn proven, in my opinion, the system. So I'm going to go into who I like going forward. I just wanted to recap the games I liked, why I liked them, and things I noticed. The Russell thing I thought was very odd, that both Russells, one, were very efficient for their team, on Russell's anniversary. Bill Russell, not his anniversary, but, the whole year is his anniversary. They're just going to be talking about him the entire year. And I think everything that happens will be related to him. So I'm going to go into, obviously, the Monday night game, all the basketball games tomorrow. I do like the Astros. I'll go into why. But I want to go into the ones we played, what I thought initially, and why I believe we hit on most of them. And then the ones we missed, like the Raiders, just what I was thinking. Raiders, I was thinking, just like the Broncos, they're too high on the sports books to make the Super Bowl. But for some reason, again, it could have just been, that could be a deception, them having them so high to win the Super Bowl. And the saying that keeping the NFC South close makes sense, I suppose. I just do think if you're going to do this, you might as well bring Jameis back and have him play his former team in prime time. That sells more than Andy Dalton. So I don't understand why they're not doing that. Maybe they're doing it on purpose, like a wrestling injury. So he comes back in like week 9 when they play the Bucks. I forget what week it is, but they are prime time. So I think that would sell. That's what I'm waiting to see. And yeah, that's really it. We're going to any ones that we have open. I'm going to go through all of our sequences because I'll go through them and find old ones that like haven't opened because we've done so many. So I come back and I'm like, I can't find any right now, but I'm sure there's one that's an open sequence that we didn't. Here's one right here, sequence 76. We had a second leg. So I like to do that sometimes. It's called like a little bit of cleanup. But right now, the only open ones we have that are not hanging chads, as you'd call them, just new ones, is going to be, I'm saving this one. We had Dallas -8 against the Pels, I think it was. Didn't hit. If you notice, I have TBD ATS. Because I don't know who I'm picking for my third leg yet, but I'm not going to randomly pick a team. So it's a to-be-determined team that's going to have a good against-the-spread metric that I like. And that'll be a third leg. And then ever since that, they've all closed out. We have a second leg, but we only put 13 on it. We got a second leg here. So it's nice to see these sequences all closing out. That's the goal. And now we are officially quadrupled because we started at 180 and we got about 50 to 70 in live wagers on, not live, but in open wagers for the Astros. And I do like the Bengals. I'm going to go into the games, though, in a separate video just because my phone's data sucks. But I just wanted to recap all the games we played and going forward what I think is going to happen. So everyone that, has been riding, good job, good winnings. We did a really good job. We won the very important ones and we lost ones that didn't matter too much. So that's what's always good. And we still won more than we lost, which is always good too. So I'll probably have my video out in a few hours just going over the Monday night game by itself, paying attention to that and some basketball. Take care and happy earnings.